that dude's such a grinder. There's not going to be a whole lot of weeks where he doesn't work his way into it, even when he ain't got his best stuff. So, I mean, you're talking about one of the all-time dogs. I mean, in my opinion, I think he's probably the third greatest player in the history of our sport. So, there's not much more you can say about Ricky. He's kind of that. What do the kids say, that he is him?
Whoa,
he is him.
Okay, all right. I think Gannon might have something to say about that.
No, he's too young to count.
Hello, everyone, and welcome in to the Players Meeting, episode 15. I'm your host, Lucas Deal, and gosh, I'm just excited to be here because tonight we're going to talk about the Beaver State Fling. What an incredible weekend of disc golf on both the men's and the women's side. It went down to the wire, and I can't wait to recap it with the fellas. Tonight, the boys will also make their perfect women's disc golfer, much like they did last week with the men's side. We'll also see how we did on our picks. And do we have a second winner of the Survivor League? Find out tonight. With me, as always, the one-time world champ, Chris Smith, a.k.a. Smitty, and the Step Pup Master, Mr. Ronnie Unruh. Boys, it's Worlds Week for y'all. This week, Ronnie in MP40, Smitty in MP50 looking to defend the title. How are y'all feeling going into the week?
It's going to be a lot different golf for me this year than it was last year, that's for sure. Last year I could just throw it anywhere I wanted to on the side of that hill and live at the results. This year it's going to be I'm going to have to hit my lines, and not necessarily my lines, but my landing zones more than anything. And my division will be won on the back nine at Kansas View. I think the person who shoots the hottest over those 27 holes will probably be in the driver's seat.
Yeah, not too dissimilar for me. Out there in Flagstaff, we had one course that, you could just throw it wherever you wanted to and kind of just go find it. And then you had another course where it was super technical and kind of fit my game really, really well. Or straight really played, kind of kept me in it all the way till the end. And a little bit different golf here at Emporia, the country club, Champions Landing now. Obviously, it's really big. It's a huge golf course. Got on today. It's we're even at the length we're playing it at, over 10,000 feet. So it's real big. It's real long. It's pretty fair, I think. But Jones East is super gettable. You're gonna have to go way low there. So I think we got some pretty similar scores that we might see to last year. So I think the scores might be comparable. But I agree with you, Smitty. Much like what you're gonna have at Kansas, I think the back nine at Champions Landing is kind of going to decide who does what in 40 as well. We're going to play that thing at least 2 times and 3 times if you're in the semifinals at least. And there's a lot of hard golf starting from about hole 8 at Champions Landing all the way to the clubhouse. It's pretty tough sledding.
Yeah, I mean, I also get to play out there. Kevin and I, 2K and I played it today, and man, it's long and hard, and if you can keep it in the fairway, though, I do think you can make your putts. I think you'll be just fine. There's a few holes that are going to be a real struggle for me to give myself a close look, but I think there's a few that I might be able to sidearm that a few of the 50 guys can't get. So,
what's the weather supposed to be like this week? Is it going to be nice weather for y'all?
10 to 20 in mid 80s. Sounds like pretty much mid 80s to the low 90s pretty much all week. So it's gonna be out there for us. I think you're right, Smitty. I think that thing's gonna be a weapon for you out there at the country club. Because I know I found myself in a few predicaments today where I was like, man, if I could just put one on a forehand spin out there about 410 feet, I could make some of these holes one heck of a lot easier. So I think that's really going to be good for you. Hopefully my roller game will be able to fit that same spot this week. So That's what we're banking on, and make the shorties, make the ones you need to get, and try to keep it in bounds, and see how it adds up at the end of the day, I guess.
Yep. I'm excited. I know there's going to probably be some Wichita peeps watching the scores, if not watched in person. Good luck to y'all. I'm really, really excited for you guys.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Well, before we jump into our first segment, I wanted to take a moment and thank you watching or listening to the podcast. Appreciate you. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search the word Wind Dummies. If you want to find us and watch us, you can find us on YouTube. Please subscribe if you haven't. Otherwise, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Podbean. All of them. You can find us there. We'd love the support. And let's go ahead and start where we always start. What's poppin'? What's been happening around the world of disc golf? All right, so this week was the Beaver State Fling, and I can't express enough how good this tournament was. Let's start here on the women's side. Round one, Rebecca Cox and Natalie Ryan set the early pace with matching 8 under rounds. 10:02 rated. Own only 1 shot back. Anakin Stin makes another lead card group. She's quickly becoming a staple in the women's top 10. On the men's side, holy Vinny Batman, 12 under to get the tournament going. Looked pretty unbeatable for most of the round. His 12 under was 1081 rated. Rick also shreds, but is 3 back. AJ Carey with another trip on a lead group, and Matt Bell finds himself there as well. Maybe some people you would not expect. Second round, Holland Hanley and Owen Scoggins surge to the front. Hanley on the back of a 10-12 rated, 10 under. Ryan remains in the final group, just 1 shot back, with Missy Ganning stealing the last spot, 4 off the pace heading into the final round. On the men's side, round one was the Vinny show. On moving day, the party began in full force. Birdies were everywhere. Dudes were making runs from everywhere. At one point, mid-round, there was 34 players within 4 of the lead. Zach Nash snagged the hot round at 11 down. He would jump 43 spots into the top 10. Ultimately, Calvin would hold on to a share of the lead along with Wichita favorite Luke Humphreys after a blazing hot 10 down Saturday. A host of players were within 2 strokes, highlighted by proven winners in Wysocki and Burr. And the final round presented some fireworks. FPO, Owen flew out the gate with 3 straight birdies to take lead, but a triple bogey 7 forced her a pair of shots back of Hanley early on. Scoggins battled, though, and worked herself back into a 2-shot lead with 2 holes to go, only to see Holland make a huge putt on 17 and Owen bogeyed. The 2 were once again tied going into the final hole. Scoggins parks the hole. Holland rolls to 45, but puts her putt right in the heart to force a playoff where Holland would ultimately win, take home the title on the back of another great putt there. What a finish, and congratulations to Holland for her first Elite Series win. And finally, on the men's side, what a day. Comers and goers in the top 10. So many guys found themselves with a look at the win. Humphreys took control mid-round and looked poised to become the first-time Pro Tour champion, just like Holland, until a tough lie on 17 forced him into a difficult shot. 3 OBs later, Luke would card a 9 and sadly finish a distant 9th. Rick and the Gavins, Robinson and Rathbun, made charges and had their chances as well. But Gannon Burr did Gannon Burr things, carding birdies on 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, and 15 to get himself into a share of the lead. But an errant second shot on the 18th left everything in doubt. After a nice pitch out, he was left with an easy par, but Ezra Robinson had a 50-footer to tie and send the Pro Tour to its second playoff of the day. The putt sailed a bit wide, and Burr was left standing with his third title of the season and enjoys AB for the most in 2024 at this point. Woo! Boys, what a weekend of disc golf. That was fun. That was super fun to watch. As always, one of the places we always like to start is the course. So much fun. I love that course. I just love the Oregon courses. There's something beautiful about them. Smitty, tell me how you think the course is played this week.
Well, those guys made it look like it was child's play, man. They're so dang good at disc golf, and I love it. I love watching Milo. I love the way it played out. There's a few, like I didn't like the OB that Eagle took early in the tournament when he just threw a little bit deep, but other than that, it played great. If you look at the scores, dude, you can tell if that many people are battling for top 10 spots, that the course is great. It plays as fair as it can be.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we heard a little bit of murmuring pre-tournament about from few of the people about the setup. It seemed to play out perfect to me. I mean, how fun was that? I'm just going to go out and say it. That was my favorite tournament of the year, and it wasn't even close. I mean, the excitement Saturday and Sunday how many texts we went back and forth saying, this guy's in it, this guy's in it, here comes this guy, there goes that guy. I mean, it was wild.
I mean, really, the Disc Golf Network could really do themselves a favor and just either hire us or wire us into Ian and Philo, because we pretty much beat them to the punch on everything. And you and I were both strongly disagreeing with them towards the end of that final round, and they kept saying, these dudes got to go for it. These dudes got to go for it. And you and I are both saying, no, man, give yourself a chance on 18. And, I see why Luke went for it. Luke was going for the win. He, in his situation, after deciding to try to cross the road on his second and ended up in the street, I mean, he wanted to win. Second place would have not tasted worth a dang. So,
yeah. Yep. Yeah, and we talk about this all the time. It's in sports, you see it happen so often where people just get hyper aggressive towards the end of a game or the end of a round or the end of a match. And oftentimes, if you just let things play out and try to take the semi more conservative route, you can give yourself more opportunities. Or you just keep it going. Just keep it going as long as you possibly can, right? And I agree with you. I think Luke needed to go for it on that second one. Although I did say, you know what, if it was, I can see him going for it, I guess. But I said I'd play for 6 right here and see if I can't birdie 18. I think I got a better chance of birdieing 18 than I do making that green. I'm just going to try to play the percentages, but my hat was also off to him, because that, like you said, that dude, there was only one thing on his mind, and that was holding the trophy at the end. And if that's why someone goes hyper aggressive at the end, I have no problem with it. Just go for broke.
You think if Luke lays up, Gannon tries to cross the road?
I mean, maybe.
I don't think so.
On the second shot, if he doesn't go for it, yeah, I think so. I think Gannon's going to run it then. Yeah, and I see where you're going with it. Force the other guy into a mistake. And it might have worked. And really, I mean, I really feel bad for Luke, because that second one, the first one that went in the road, it was a good shot. He threw it about 10 feet too far because it was getting ready to hook up and go right onto the other side of that road. And he threw it too good. And then he was just in such a tough spot after that. The wind kind of picked up on him, and he had a limb hanging right in front of his face. And it seemed like nothing good could happen from that one. But I mean, I give him credit for risking it for the biscuit there. So
I think that's the same story for him that it was at Waco, right? He was on 18, went for it to try to get past that green, did make it kind of the same situation here. He's always going for that win. He doesn't want to take second place.
And he's playing against one guy there where you can understand, hey man, maybe let's not see how long we can play this out. If you got a chance to win it, you better go try to win it right then. Because if you saw it yesterday, that kid started slow, and once he got it going, you could see the whole thing happening in front of your face. That once he got a sniff of, I might still be in this. These guys didn't run away and hide yet. Cancel Christmas. That dude's coming.
Yeah, I felt so bad for Luke. I obviously am pulling for the guy, but honestly, I don't think it was a good play to go for it. But I understand why. I just don't think. Just get into 18 and force something there. I just think it was too tough of a shot.
Well, even if he throws it across the road safe, that shot to that little bitty tiny green from where he was going to be is no gimme. He would have been 200 feet out, I think. So,
oh, for sure. I mean, I think he's probably still playing for 5. So at that point, even after you go on the road playing for how is playing for 6 going to make it like that much of a worse strategy, you know? So, I mean, I don't know, man. It's easy to play Monday quarterback on a deal like that and say, I would have done this. But I mean, that's part of being a winner on tour, is being able to have clarity of mind in situations like that. And nothing's harder than getting that first win, whether it's at a local C tier or out there on the pro tour, man. Learning how to win is a hard thing to do. And I really hope it happens for him at some point. I really like Luke. He's a good dude. And obviously around 100%. Here, we pull for him pretty hard. And if he keeps putting himself in those situations, it's gonna happen for him at some point.
Yep. All right. Well, let's jump into the women's side and talk some of the storylines there. Holland Hanley, she got her first big one, and she breaks through. Do you think this is something that's going to snowball into more wins for Holland? What do you think, Ronnie?
Very well could. It very well could. And I got to see a lot of it this weekend. I'll say it's a lot easier to win when Paige and old KT isn't there. So, but she's a great player. We know she's a great player. We know she's a fantastic thrower of the disc. When she can putt, she's gonna be in the mix anytime she makes putts. So this very well could turn into a pretty good season for her real quick.
Yeah, and she hit some big ones down the stretch. I mean, some big putts. And she's been kind of that person that's not finished well. So that's what I'm thinking about. Does this do something for her mental game, Smitty, kind of going into the next tournaments?
Well, it can't hurt, that's for sure. That putt she made on 17 was awesome. And, Owen's putt on 17 was no gimme either. So that was also fun to watch. But the putt she made on 18 was, oh my gosh, that was like a dream maker, dude. But when you think of making a big putt to tie or win, that thing was 45 feet and it was good.
Elevated.
You let go of it. It was
baller. It was the most baller move I've seen all season, male or female.
Yeah. It was sick. It was a chill giver. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was, and then her emotion after, like, oh, I got you fired up. It was fun.
Yeah. And Smitty's right. As soon as she turned loose, you're like, oh, that's going right in the middle. It was going nowhere but dead center. Yeah. Unbelievable.
And the putt to win the playoff was fantastic too. Yeah. So that's three really awesome putts there. Maybe you can see a little parallels between like maybe her and AB, right? Someone was a notorious non-closer. All of a sudden he gets it done one time and then he wins 3 times in a 6-week stretch. So who knows? Maybe something like that's out there for Holland Hanley. I hope so. I hope she's good the rest of the year, and I hope that she when there's a full field, I hope she challenges them and gives them all they want, because she can outthrow all of them.
Yeah, I don't see why she wouldn't. I mean, she's one of the best throwers there is, and like I said, if she's making those putts, I mean, she's a handful for anybody.
Well, let's talk about the queen of consistency, Owen Scoggins, who, again, if Paige, KT aren't there, she's always in the mix, and that putting is absolutely lethal. Smitty, talk about her performance this weekend.
Let's go, Owen. That was awesome. I loved it when she putted and yelled halfway, let's go, Owen. 2 big putts in a row. That one up the hill on, what is that, hole 14 or 15? That thing was nasty.
Yeah.
And, man, just the way she composed herself when she threw it in that hill on 17. And, I would have never guessed in a million years that was going to happen to her.
She's yeah. I mean, there's not much you can say about Owens Coggins that hasn't already been said before. She knows what she can do, and she does it every week. It's almost surprising when she throws a poor shot, because so many shots look exactly like the one that she just threw. And I'll be honest with you, I'll be the first to say that on hole 16, I said this thing was over. That you're not going to spot this lady 2 shots with 2 holes to go and expect to have anything other than you walking back to the car crying. And she made one mistake on 17. It cost her a bogey, and then she makes just the incredible shot on 18, leans it up against the pedestal.
Oh yeah.
And then for her, she got a little bit unlucky for Holland to go and make that bomb, and then for her to make again. So I mean, that was one of the ones she didn't lose. She got it taken from her, in my opinion.
And that's why I'm so pumped for Holland, because Holland earned that victory 1,000%. So let's talk kind of a little bit lower down the leaderboard, but still a top 10. One of our guests, Emily Weatherman, staking her claim at Rookie of the Year. Is there anyone else rearing their head? Ronnie, what do you think there?
I mean, I think she's pretty clear cut the Rookie of the Year at this point. I mean, Ellie Ezra, who knows, maybe she has a big second half or something. And she can, maybe she can threaten a little bit of what Emily's already done, but she's already got a few top 10s this year. She's on pace to make the Tour Championship. She's having an incredible year. Good for her. And she can play, dude. She can really play.
I think from Ellie Ezra, I don't even know if she's on tour right now or what's going on. I don't know if she made that West Coast swing or not. But yeah, she's really good. Really good at this stupid game that we love.
Yeah, and we just had Sophia Donachie, right, last week have a big performance, but she followed that up with a tied for 21st. I can't remember, is Anakin Sten a rookie, or was she on the tour last year?
I'm pretty sure she played last year.
Yeah, I don't think she would qualify for. I think she played enough events to not allow her to qualify as a rookie this year, I guess I should say.
Okay.
How good is she though, man?
She's good, dude.
Really good also.
She can really putt. Her putting, it might not look amazing, but man, she makes a lot of them. She makes some long ones too. She is really good at that little bunny hop step putt. She can really throw them in there. I've been really impressed with her this year.
Yep, 1,000%. All right, well, let's move to the men's side. We've already mentioned Burr, but let's just talk a little bit more about him. This is his second win in a row, back-to-back Elite Series wins. Ronnie, is the tour ready to be dominated by a little kid that is barely old enough to vote in this year's coming election?
I don't know if they're ready or not, but it's happening. So, I said even this weekend on Friday, and maybe I was a little bit too premature, that watching Vinny play on Friday, I texted him and I was like, I don't care who plays well week in, and some this week, some that week, whatever. That guy's the best player week in and week out. I don't know if that's the case, man. That kid just doesn't quit. Even when he doesn't look like he's playing good, he's winning.
Yeah.
It's that's what's got to be frustrating to his fellow tour pros, is even when they think, oh, he ain't got it this week, he still wins. There's only been one guy we've seen do that over the last since Kenny left. And that was Mr. McBee. He would win sometimes even when he didn't have his A game. And when someone out there on tour can win without their A game, it's going to be a long year for the rest of everybody else.
How easy is this kid making it look?
It makes me want to quit golf. It looks so easy.
off of the tee, he is in total control with zero effort, both spins. And you know that if he can see the bucket, he's gonna be putting it in. That one amazing, beautiful green, I think they changed the hole up a little bit this year. Did you see that putt he threw on that the final round from way over right?
Yes.
Dude, this is what he does. Yeah, he looks totally in control off the tee. Oh, and by the way, he makes more putts than everybody else. That's a pretty good comment. That's a pretty good recipe for success.
What about that layup putt on 17? I think he said it was 142 feet or something. He just putted it up there.
He flicked his wrist up there and threw it under the basket. I'm like, I don't know how. I was like, the whole time we're watching, I'm like, I don't know how this kid's going to get this there. He's got no ceiling. He's 130 feet, so he can't throw it. It's too short. There's nowhere to throw it to. I'm just going to putt it to the pin. Like, that's not a thing. That's not a thing. He's doing stuff that makes you. And there was a couple of those really on the Philo hole where he when everybody else is trying to feed it through the trees, he's decided, you know what, I'm gonna go up over the top of everything and just fall on it. I was like, that's not real. He threw it so high.
Yeah,
he's incredible. He does, like I said, he frustrates me at times with some of the things he says, but that dude, I drop my jaw almost every weekend with that kid. It's crazy.
He's a kid, dude.
Yep,
man.
Yeah, but he's
fun.
Playing
he's fun.
Unreal, for sure. Yeah, because he was 12th place after the first round. You didn't think there was a chance. I'm like, okay, he's probably still gonna get a top 10, but he's not winning this thing. And lo and behold, here he is. Pretty crazy. All right, well, we've kind of mixed it up with Luke already. Talked about Luke and his performance, and again, he's gonna get there. We all feel that. But let's talk about another person that's been close multiple times this year, and Ezra Robinson, getting closer and closer to finishing one off. Smitty, talk about Ezra.
That dude throws hard. He throws the disc harder than anybody on tour, I think. He throws it with anger, I feel. And the only person that putts quicker than him on tour is his brother. And he's not far behind him, and those guys are both deadly from anywhere. He's good, man. And this is even though he didn't get the win, this was the closest he's been to winning. Like, he had an opportunity to win on that last hole, and gosh dang, I couldn't even sit down. I was standing up behind my chair.
Yeah, like we've talked, man. His tee shots come out with this just a different, like his arm speed I don't care what they say the arm speed is or whatever, but his tee shots look different. They're just so fast. Like, the Shockers adopted that whole play angry thing, when they were going to the Final Four and all that stuff. He needs to market the throw angry, because he looks like he's pissed off at the world every time he throws it. It's fun. I really like watching that dude a lot.
Yeah, 1,000%. And really, surprisingly, shockingly, not a lot of wins this year, but Rick's right there. He's just putting himself in position as well, week in, week out, but he just hasn't got over that hump. Ronnie, talk about Rick's performance.
I mean, it's one of those things, man. If you just keeping yourself in that winning position over and over and over again for a guy like Ricky, it's going to happen, and it's probably going to happen multiple times. And obviously, that dude's such a grinder. There's not going to be a whole lot of weeks where he doesn't work his way into it, even when he ain't got his best stuff. So, I mean, you're talking about one of the all-time dogs. I mean, in my opinion, I think he's probably the third greatest player in the history of our sport. So, there's not much more you can say about Ricky. He's kind of that. What do the kids say, that he is him?
Whoa,
he is him.
Okay, all right. I think Gannon might have something to say about that.
No, he's too young to count.
When Rick gets going and the crowd gets going with Rick, there's nobody more fun to watch. The way he feeds off of them and gets going. But every time this year he gets on these runs, and gets going, he just does something that you're just like, what the heck, Rick? Like on hole 18, round 2, when he threw that disc where no disc has ever landed ever in the history of that hole. And then his upshot was way deep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's my dude to root for. One of my dudes. I got a lot of dudes.
I'm the same way. I got about 15 dudes in my top 5, but Rick's very much a Phil Mickelson equivalent, I think, right? The fans love that guy. And he's always trying to win. There's second place is first loser for that guy. And you gotta respect that.
Yeah. He is one of those ones that the way he feeds off the crowd is so much fun. Man, there's nothing like it. That's another one that just I'm like a in between Rick fan, but when he starts like getting the crowd involved, I'm like, all right, Rick, okay, I'm rooting for you now. You know what I mean? It's just hard not to.
When them Raptor legs come out, you gotta get up. That's the way it goes. You gotta get up.
Yeah.
Did you see him come out post putt this weekend?
No.
Yeah. I mean, after he made that putt on 18 the last round, and he knew that he didn't know he was out of it. I mean, he was one Gannon shot through a tree.
Yeah.
From being in it, and he was loving it.
That's good. Yeah, he's electric. It's fun to watch, right?
It really is. All right, last person I want to talk about before we move in to something else is talk about Vinny, right? That start that he had, 12 down, 1081 rated, that was just sick. And then he just kind of cooled off the rest of the time. I was kind of shocked. I thought he was definitely going to take it down. Ronnie, what'd you think about Vinny this weekend?
Disc golf is hard. Even dudes like the Cyborg are gonna not throw good shots from time to time. I think he suffered from a little bit of mental lapses on Saturday. I think he even kind of alluded to it in his post-round interview where he's like, man, I felt like I was playing good and I just, I made some dumb mistakes. And, even guys that are that good aren't immune to doing, making those mental errors at times or just not executing. And we say it every week, the tour's too good. You can't go through a stretch of not executing out there or a poor stretch in 9 holes or 10 holes or something like that and expect to win. I mean, he really wasn't that far behind everybody. He was still in the mix.
Yep.
But these days on tour, the days of, sleepwalking through one of your rounds or something like that and getting a win, just those days are gone.
This was the first time I've ever watched him during a round, and you could tell that he was really down on himself and really, really frustrated with the way his round was going. So,
the second round,
final round, he was.
Oh, final round too.
Yeah, but the saying, you can't win a tournament on the first day.
Yeah.
So,
and it's true. I mean, he still finished 4th, and it's funny for us to say, "Oh God, you had a bad tournament. How dare you finish in the top 5?"
Oh no, he was still amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just how good he is.
Yeah, it truly is. He's another one that's just fun to watch. But yeah, just kind of subpar for him, right?
Yeah.
Just didn't have quite enough to finish it off this week. All right, boys. Great week of tournament. That was really fun on both sides, as I mentioned earlier. But let's move into our next segment. Bill the Disc Golfer. Is that the name of it? All right. So last week we created our perfect MPO player based off 5 different categories. We had the mental, the backhand, the forehand, the putter,
swag,
and the swag. First time counting. I'm like, there's another one, I think. And y'all had some really good players. I'm excited to see who you choose now on the women's side. So we're going to go back and forth. Who wants to start us off?
I'll go first. I think Ryan was last week. Mental, I went with KT. That chick has been hunted for the last 2 years and accepting all challenges, and in most cases fending them off and winning tournaments in different ways and traveling back and forth and being away from home for months at a time. And it's got to be mentally taxing, but she always just handles it with such grace and is just so amazing on the course, and really seems like she'd be the person you'd want to hang out with after the round and just hang. She just seems like a super nice person. So, but yeah, she's still a killer. Kristen Tatar.
Yeah, hard to argue that. I went with someone who hasn't just been hunted for the last couple years. I went with someone that's been hunted for the last, decade and a half. I went with Paige Pierce. I think she's the most fierce, tenacious women's disc golfer I've ever seen. She's another one. She plays just to win. Finishing second place means nothing to her. She does not care. And that mindset is the mindset of a champion. And if I'm building my women's disc golfer, I got to have that on her. So I'm going to go with Paige.
Can't go wrong.
I also considered Owen for that one, just so we're clear. I mean, we talked about earlier. Executes her game plan every week, unfazed by what everybody else is doing. That mindset is pretty great too. So she was kind of she almost made it, but I'm going to go with Paige.
I wonder if Owen though doesn't have that killer instinct because she's so kind. Do you ever feel that with her fun-loving attitude, that she doesn't have, like, when it's down to the wire like that? We know she's going to execute her game plan, but does she have the killer instinct? Just something I always think about when I think of Owen is maybe she doesn't have that.
I don't know. I'll see her this week. I'll ask her for you.
I think she's a dog.
I think
she 100% is. I just wonder. She's just so kind. It's just hard.
Backhand. Maybe my favorite player in all of disc golf to watch, from tee all the way up into the point where she decides to putt it. And then I kind of have to turn away, go get a refreshing beverage and come back and see the next tee shot. But the best backhand player in the women's division, as far as I'm concerned, is Hannah Blomroos. She's incredible.
Yeah, she is.
Throws the stamp of it, as Smitty likes to say.
Well, that's a pretty good pick, Ronnie. You went with the wrong woman, right? Evelina. Same issues around the green, but this gal's been in contention at multiple tournaments just because of her ability to throw the disc so dang close to the basket that she doesn't need to putt. So I went with Evelina Salonen as my backhand female.
Can't go wrong.
Forehand, I went with Haley King. This gal can, man, she's so smooth forehand and can put that sucker anywhere she wants. It has outstanding distance. It doesn't look like she's overpowering it. I mean, it's fantastic. It is. I can't think of a better forehand in the game on the women's side.
You certainly know the forehand far more than I do. I've thrown 2 or 3 in my entire life. So I went with the first 1,000 rated woman of all time. I think she's got an amazing forehand too. I had to use Kristen in one of these spots. How could you not, with maybe the best player we've ever seen? So, but her forehand, I think, kind of stands out for her. I think it's a huge weapon for her. So I went with Kristen for the forehand.
She's good too.
And
okay, we can probably just skip putt.
The putt. Come on, get out of here.
We know.
It's that own.
We both went on for sure.
Yeah. How couldn't you? So I'll just go ahead and do the swag then. For the dudes, I said Matty O, and I even had a little side note, man. If this would have been wide open, I might have taken this person that I'm taking for the women as the swaggiest of the whole pro tour. Holland Hanley and she only, and this was prior to what she did this weekend, right? With that, what she showed us on that 17th, 18th greens. But man, every time she walks out on the tee, she walks out there thinking, this is my place, and someday I'm going to own it. And I think she went a long ways of doing that this week. But nobody thinks they belong more than Holland Hanley does. She shows it.
Yeah.
I went swag a different way, I guess, because I don't think this gal thinks she owns the place, but she doesn't give a dang about what you think. She's super quirky. She's just out there, man. Cat merch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that's about as swaggy as you can get, I feel, for on the women's side. Like, from the sunglasses to when she won last year at Jonesboro, just screaming to the Macho Man at the press conference.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, these are good. I'm surprised you only had one in the same spot with the putter. But honestly, both those were really, really good. Let's recap each player here. So Ronnie had the mental of Paige Pierce, backhand of Henna, forehand of Tatar, putter of Own, and the swag of one Holland Hanley. Smitty had the mental of Tatar, the backhand of Evelina, forehand of Haley King, putter of Own, and the swag of Miss Macho Man Cat Merch. That's good. That was fun.
Yeah, I like that. Now we're done.
Yeah. Well, now we got to have a new segment.
Too bad we burned it all in 2 weeks. That was fun though. That was good when Travis Bailey recommended that to us. And,
Yeah. Thanks, Travis.
and that was a good segment. Appreciate that.
He's better at ideas than he is at spotting.
That is true.
Hopefully we can keep him out of Emporia this week.
I think he'd maybe help you out. Let's move into our next segment, which is the DOS line. We only get to do this twice this year, but let's talk about it. So the DOS line, as we know, we all got to choose where we thought Nate would finish. I said not great, so in the 50s. Ronnie said terrible, and Smitty, you also said not great, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yeah, I did.
All right, let's see where Mr. Doss finished. And in his first tournament in 6 years, he got 71st. That's terrible.
Man.
But honestly, it's not terrible.
No, it was great. He shot really well, minus a few holes, and every time they interviewed him, I couldn't walk away from the computer. I just loved listening to him talk, and you could tell how much it meant for him to be there and be part of it. It was awesome. I'm guessing come USDGC time, he'll be in the respectable range.
Oh,
I think I agree with you. I saw some life out of his game over the weekend, and I found myself following a lot, and I think he's going to commit himself for the next couple months, and you might see a different dude come Winthrop, because I think he really wants to still be good, and I think if he shows a little bit being good, you might see him on that West Coast swing a little bit next year. He hasn't completely ruled it out, and I could see that happening if he can show himself that he can still really compete, and I think he can. I mean, he's one of our all-time greats. So, it was good. It was really fun to have him there.
And Winthrop is a much different monster than Milo. So, for somebody who knows it, he knows it, and he knows that you don't have to throw 7,000 feet to compete there. You got to throw it 350 to 400 where you want it, and he'll be respectable. He was respectable this weekend.
He wasn't terrible. I mean, what he had is 1004 was what he averaged.
1004 rated, 71st.
And I think he was 6 over alone on hole 2.
Yeah, that one got him.
You take that away, and
Wasn't he
threatening.
5 out of the cash or something like that?
Yeah, I think that's right. I said if he just makes pars on that par 5, he's in the money. And if he'd have been in the money, that would have been a monumental upset.
That par 5 is no joke either, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool though, for sure. I loved seeing him on covers that first round. I just thought it was just really, really neat. I know there wasn't a ton of highlights to show, but yeah, his post round, just like, God, it was just a feel good moment, you know, even for someone that didn't grow up watching him like you guys did.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go into our next segment, which is weekly picks. All right, let's see how we did this week, boys. Because we can
skip this segment.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, we have not been too hot with our stinks. Except, did we have someone do well this week? Let's find out. All right. So Smitty went ahead and said Gavin Babcock, who had a top 10 finish. I said Yuli, who had a top 15. And Roddy had a really standout pick this week. And Cole played pretty well final day to put himself even higher in a 34th position. So Roddy got the green check mark, Smitty taking the big red, and I'm taking a yellow.
Smitty was so worried with about 6 or 7 holes to go that he was going to lose the Roadhouse bet, because Gavin Babcock looked for all the world, he looked for all the world like he might get there.
He had a bad spit. Did you see that?
I did.
Oh, the dirty one on 16.
16.
Yes.
No, but he thought for sure that Babcock was going to win that tournament, and he looked like he had a really good chance, and that one dirty spit kind of cost him. And then he was another one of the guys that kind of got caught having to really go for it at the end. So, but that dude's pretty good, man. That dude's sneaky good.
He's been really good this week, this year.
Yeah.
So, Smitty, tell us some stats on where Cole's normal finish is versus how he finished this tournament.
Yeah, I can tell you on all of them what their averages are. Cole averages 28th place and finished 34th, obviously. So he was the only player of our stinks to do worse. So Ronnie was a no-brainer green.
Yeah.
Okay, so Yuli, your pick, who you sent Ronnie and I a message, when is Yuli going to remember he stinks or something? Or
Yeah.
I don't remember how that went down. And Ronnie and I both replied at the exact same time, except he doesn't or something. So
Yeah.
Yuli has an average finish of 32nd and finished 15th. So
that's a little skewed though too, because he had a couple of really terrible finishes to start the year.
Yeah.
The last 6 weeks or so, Yuli's been really good.
Yeah,
he's been hot. He's been top 10, top 20 consistently. Yeah.
And then Babcock averages 26 and finished 7th. So we probably could have went either way with the yellow there, but when your dude's in it to win it and he's supposed to blow up, you get the red. No doubt about it.
Yeah. And you even tried to warn me with Yuli. You said he's not going to stink. You've picked him a million times, and Yuli did not. So
Yuli both of your guys had a piece of the lead on either Saturday or Sunday. My guy goes 10-50 on the last day to finish 34th.
You know, it's crazy because Yuli averaged, 55th last year, and this year he's just playing so well. It's pretty awesome to see.
Helps to be healthy.
Yep. Resurgence. All right, let's look at our sleepers. Ronnie said the Oregon guy, Nate Sexton, Smitty with the Proctor, and I went with Nico, who Smitty laughed at and then said it was a okay pick because I had some research. And let's see. Ooh, Sexton 61st, Proctor 28th, but also Nico 28th. But somehow I got the green because Nico has not been playing well, but he played decent this week. Smitty, tell me those stats.
Well, I was really shocked when I went to Statmando and started looking up these average finishes, which I have to do right after the tournament, or they update their website and it makes it harder on me. So I got to get them quick. But they had James Proctor for an average finish of 30th place, which is pretty good, but we haven't seen him or heard about him or anything. So he actually did better than what he normally does. So, that's kind of good. Nate, we may have to do we may have to change it to the Nate line instead of the DOS line. Just keep an eye on both of them. And then Nico, man, this guy, average finish this year, 61st place, and he shot pretty well, man. We say it all the time. Top 30 is not terrible. So good pick, Lucas. You did your homework.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I got a green.
What about the sneaky stat that the proctologist is averaging 30th place on tour?
Yeah.
How quiet has that been?
That's
what is he
so
finishing
quiet.
30th every week? Because I swear I haven't seen him play around on feature coverage this year.
No,
Well, I think he's one tournament short from the rest of them as well. At least one. So,
come
on,
he missed a couple of chances to blow up, but
I don't even remember him I don't remember him in a chase card situation either, like anywhere sniffing it. So yeah, but just outside it seems like, and looks like he's cashing probably pretty consistently then if that's the case. So good on him. But you're right, that's super sneaky. All right, and let's look at our last one. A shine. Oh, Eagle, McMahon, and Smitty went with the Beast. And let's see how they shook out. So B and Ronnie took the green because Eagle, phenomenal last round to get up into a tie for 12th. And then the Beast himself, 43rd. Smitty gets the red.
Another week where Paul kind of got caught playing hyper aggressive at the end for no reason. He kind of went for that green twice in a row on 17 too and made a big number. And he was right. I think with 6 holes to go, he was in 13th place. And we'll talk about later maybe the significance of these two guys.
Yeah, but pretty good. Guys, I don't know if you can see that, but it looks like Lucas got a victory this week.
it's true.
Barely, but we take those. It's hard to win on tour, and I was able to do it. So
Blind
maybe this is going to propel me forward. What'd you say?
I said blind squirrels find nuts too, I suppose.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I think I have won once as well, but this was a good week for me, so I'm happy. This is what happens when Ronnie doesn't get to do his homework. How dare he have a life outside of the podcast?
Damn, Nate Sexton. I thought Nate Sexton was one of my favorite players.
You've disowned him now.
He's on the list for the current time being.
Well, let's look at something else. So, as you know, we had this crazy thing called the Survivor League, and there was a showdown. And Mr. Ronnie Unruh in the championship again against Schaefer. We already know how this plays out. Schaefer and Ronnie. Ronnie had Beast. Schaefer had Eagle. Eagle gets 12th. He gets the green check mark. Ronnie tied for 43rd. He gets the red X. And congratulations, Ronnie. A 2-time final week loser. You just wait longer than us to get out.
Harsh words.
But congratulations, Shafe.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations, Shafe. I'm so proud of you. Yeah, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Is that what they say? At least I've played every week, I suppose.
Exactly. You're still the only player to play all week. Shafe was new to the 2.0. He wasn't in the first league. So you definitely have that over all of us. And No one can take that away from you, but you have also won just as much as Smitty and I have.
Fair.
I just don't have enough time to make a survivor pick each week, so I try to get out early.
It's tough. It's hard work.
You don't know how hard it is.
All 3 weeks you've done it have been that painstaking.
Well,
Wow.
we're rolling it back at 3.0, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to roll it back. If you would like in, we need 15 people minus us 3. So that's 12. So we need 12 of you. Go ahead and comment if you want in. It's $10 to play. Winner takes all. I've already paid Schaefer. He's got the money. He was pretty excited about it. So if you want in, let us know. Automatic bid goes to Tyson because how some things shook out last time. So we're going to pay your way in. So, we only need 11 now. All right. Watch out because these are going fast. Already 4 spots filled. So please let us know if you'd like to play, and we'll get you in there.
I'm going to say Patsy and Schaefer are in again for sure.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, Patsy's good. Patsy's good. Shafe won it, so he's good. But I think I'm going to give Shafe more time to think about it because when he thinks about it, I think he does worse. It's when I pressure him, I'm like, I need a pick right now that he does well. Didn't overthink.
I feel conspired against them.
We're going to show you a video on the 19th hole of our favorite shot of the weekend. Tell us what your favorite one was. Tell us if you agree. But again, we're going into Masters Worlds this week, and these 2 win dummies are competing at a very high level. So shout out to them. Good luck to them. And I hope you guys play really, really well, and hope to see you at the top. Any shout outs you'd like to give for the week?
I got nothing.
All right.
Yeah, I feel like I'm. I don't have thanks or congratulations to give to anybody this week other than Holland Hanley. I will say that what she did at the end of that was the biggest baller move I've seen all season by anybody, man. And my hats off to Holland Hanley. She made a fan this weekend.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. All right. Well, boys, it's been fun. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Take care. Bye-bye now.
It's a nice looking green.
It is. It's very pretty.
It's nice. Holland
So important.
needs to make it. The most important.
Oh my God.
She has to make it.
No way.
Oh man, I love the turn of the card.
Her standing on that log.
Dude,
That is-
this is a playoff. She's gonna have all the momentum from that shot, standing on a slog, going into a playoff.
That is unreal. Yeah, get up on that log. Oh my God, that is amazing.